All right, welcome back to Are You Not Entertained podcast. Jesus, I almost didn't remember the name of the podcast. This is episode 26, and a lot of chaos is going around the gaming industry, so let's just jump right into it. EA is laying off staff across multiple Battlefield studios, and that's shocking for one big reason. Battlefield 6 is one of the best-selling games of the year, and it even won awards at the Game Awards show. So how does a franchise go from massive success and industry recognition to layoffs across the teams that's building its future, quote unquote? That's the big question right now, because if a game can sell millions, win awards, and still lead to cuts inside the studio, what does that say about the state of AAA development? Well, here's what we know. EA is restructuring development across the Battlefield teams, and that restructuring reportedly involves layoffs at several studios connected to the franchise. What makes this situation unusual? Like I said, Battlefield performed very extremely well, whatever stat you want to put on it. It was considered the best-selling game of 2025. Huge player engagement and massive recognition at the Game Awards. Mind you, that was all initially, and we're now 6 months removed, but normally that kind of success leads to expansions, not layoffs and cuts. So the debate now is whether EA is tightening development to focus on the franchise, or if something deeper is happening behind the scenes about AAA games on how they're made and what kind of success they need to maintain months after launch. All right, so I do want to build context to this topic in what the intro said. This is coming off like many tries at the player engagement online still months after launch. Like we reported, we put this up, I think it was the player count or concurrent player count was up against Arc Raiders, and Arc Raiders blew Battlefield 6 out the window. We've made other Battlefield 6 videos about how the player count is struggling. A lot of people have commented that, hey, I've installed the game, it's shit. It's like, I might pop up some comments because people have been voicing their disappointment for this game since launch. And yes, launch was very successful. Best-selling game of 2025 and won an award at the Game Awards. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, or I think, no, it was for the soundtrack. It won the soundtrack award. And so, I mean, Battlefield 6 and all it and what it means, it was a success. Now, maintain success 6 months removed, I don't think EA really put that much money into it. So I think they are in the profit or in the black for Battlefield 6. But now that they see that they can't get the player count back up and maintain it, they are now cutting. Now, these cuts are also in the wake that EA sold himself to that overseas, whatever, company or group of companies that was. So EA across the board, even with the Sims 4, they like, hey, this is our last thing. We're not putting out any more updates or expansions on the Sims 4, which is a fucking printing money making machine for EA. Now they're laying off when a game is not really doing what it needs to do and maintain player count. They're laying off, like they're trying to make this more attractive for the buyers. Buyers are already dictating a lot of shit behind the scenes. We all know how that shit goes. So they're already looking at the numbers like, hey, cut the fat. Listen, it's very unfortunate anytime that anybody becomes unemployed in 2026, because the job market right now, even in gaming, is just atrocious. Like the unemployment rate in the US, this is not to get political, it's just at an all-time high, and it's really outrageous. And so listen, to be unemployed in 2026 is very unfortunate. I hope whoever was a part of these layoffs find work soon. My heart goes out to them. This is not surprising. Now, the whole AAA game development. Listen, if you are in this rat race that is a live service model, it's just like a race against the clock. You cannot maintain the pace, because people lose interest very quickly. And like the comments in our past Battlefield videos, once you piss off the players, they move on. And when they move on, don't come back. So a lot of people gave Battlefield 6 a lot of chances, and they finally were just fed up. And like one commenter that I'm thinking of said, I uninstalled the game for X, Y, and Z. And I get it. and this was a full price game. This is $60-$70, whatever you pay for, plus whatever microtransactions they squeeze out of you. So you like when you compare that to something like Arc Raiders and even Marathon, $40, like $40 to $70, like that $30 makes a complete difference in what people expectations are for the online and the continuations. And people are a lot more forgiving for a $40 live service game than a fucking $70. That's just a fucking facts. And listen, if I don't buy Battlefield, I don't buy Call of Duty, because it's just a fucking rat race. And I have been long disappointed with both franchises. And even though Battlefield 6 was a reclaim the fame, I guess, in the single player, but online, I guess listen, if the shit ain't working, the shit ain't working. So listen, it is what it is. Battlefield 6 updates will probably be a lot more slower, if anything, probably. So maybe they can do a Division 2, like with what Ubisoft is doing. I don't know, but listen, Battlefield, is EA really gonna give a fuck about anything going forward now with this game? Probably not. But I'll turn it over to my cousin.
I was very shocked to see this news. Let me rephrase that. I was not very shocked. I was thrown off because EA, in all their money hungry grubbiness, they finally had a win. They finally achieved what they have tried so many years. They tried it with the Medal of Honor series. They tried it so many entries with Battlefield to topple and outdo Call of Duty. And now they fucking finally do it. You finally won, bud. You finally did it, George. You finally did it. And what do? You gut the studios. You tear them apart. Now, there was a lot of speculation going online that this is more EA trimming the fat, or their Saudi Arabia partners is about to purchase them, trying to clear the way for this deal to get through. But at some point, how do you have huge success? And I will say huge, because to outperform Call of Duty, not just by sales metrics, but the critics, the fans, it is across the board. But then at the same time, as Infamous has said, this live service shit is getting old. You need to hold the people's audience, and if you ain't doing it, they move on. These new games are failing. They're not lasting a year. Here you have a main staple multiplayer shooter. This game goes back generations of consoles, PCs, Battlefield 1942, Battlefield Bad Company 2, and your player base has fallen off so significantly, you couldn't retain them? So let this be a lesson. This be a lesson to everybody who thinks of, this game, it'll be great. You think so? You think so? The Giant couldn't do it. You think the little guy will?
Well, Arc Raiders is doing it.
Well, the little people are doing it. They're giving players exactly what they want. But Arc Raiders was smart. They didn't say, hey, they came at them with $40. They didn't come at them with no $70. But not even just that. They're humble. They say, we're going to listen to you. And of course, they're not owned by EA. I mean, that plays a lot in. You're not owned by, I think it was 3 years in a row, they were voted the worst company in America.
The most hated company.
Yeah. So that says a lot. But I'm going to be transparent. Yeah, I don't play these games like that either. I mean, we were talking about leading up to its launch. Hey, it does look good. It looked nice, and it might be an infamous. Oh, he bought it on sale, but it was like probably not, because one, we're not first person gamers. That's whether it's co-op or whatever the hell it may be. And then I used to play Battlefield. I played Battlefield Company 1 and 2. I like the story, and I've tried many times to get into it. It just ain't me. I'm trying to run around, pop somebody, kind of more arcade-ish. Battlefield was a little more serious on the nose, and it's just not my cup. It just
I seen a meme somewhere, and it was like, in your younger gaming years, you live for online multiplayer, but in your older gaming years, you live for single player experiences and peace of mind.
Sure do.
Fucking facts,
y'all. You ain't lying.
Fuck it. We grew up playing Call of Duty too. Modern Warfare.
Yep.
No, bitch. I will
not
subject
Not
myself today.
anymore.
Foolishness.
But
And
if I have to truly be honest, it is sad to see this because I do know that that team, they put in the work to turn this game around from what the disaster of 2042 was, and to see it being so discarded and cast aside because, oh, just player retention, it just goes to show, hey, as we say, fuck PlayStation and etc., fuck EA. These corporations just don't care. They don't give flying shits.
they don't care about your feelings.
This game did something that no one ever thought would happen. It toppled hard. And what do they have to show for it? Bye bye, out the door. So, damn. But to everyone affected by it, I truly hope they land on their feet. I truly
Yeah.
hope there's some developers that says, hey, we can use some grade A devs about making good shooters. So best of wishes to you.
Yep, but listen, comment down below. Is Battlefield in trouble again? Is the franchise in trouble? Let us know what you think and how you feel in the comments down below. Bungie's marathon has officially been out for 1 week, people. And the big question right now is simple. Is it a hit or a disappointment? When the game launched, expectations were sky high. This is Bungie, the studio behind Halo, Destiny, stepping into the distraction shooter genre. But 1 week later, players are already debating the numbers, gameplay loop, and rather Marathon actually has the staying power to compete with one of the most crowded genres in gaming right now that are distraction shooters. So here's where things stand after 1 week since launch. Marathon launched with strong interest and a lot of curiosity from players, but the real test for any live service shooter is what happens after launch. Hype fades. Are players sticking around or moving on to the next big game or going back to Arc Raiders? Early impressions have been mixed. Some players love the gunplay and Bungie's signature feel, while others are questioning the progression and long-term replay value. And that raises a bigger question. Can Marathon build a loyal player base? Or is the extraction shooter market already too crowded? AKA Arc Raiders is sucking the life out of it. All right, so I am going to go over some numbers. At launch, it peaked around 86,000 to 88,000 concurrent players on Steam. Pause. Steam is the only one that releases numbers. We can't know the numbers of the console. No, not consoles. PlayStation. Because PlayStation doesn't release those numbers. I just want to make a caveat because all these people be like, oh, that's just on Steam. Console players, are a lot of players. Yes, they are, but yeah, they just don't report the numbers, so we'll never know. Anyway, so recent concurrent players reportedly for Marathon since the first 24 hours are around 30 to 60 active players at different times. All-time Steam peak is 88,337 players. Earlier testing events were larger. The Server Slam peaked at 140,621 concurrent players. So the Server Slam saw more concurrent players than the actual launch, and that's very interesting and very telling. Listen, now, bottom line, Steam peak 88,000, current Steam range around 30 to 60 players. They ain't gonna do it, bruh. That is not a hit. That is, in my eyes. And I saw a meme where it was like Marathon is only staying relevant after its launch because of journalists. That's kind of like, yeah, I think PlayStation and Sony is paying a lot in marketing. I thought they was planting seeds talking about, oh, can Marathon outdo Arc Raiders? Oh, Arc Raiders saw a 30% dip. Could that be because people are about to leave it for Marathon? I thought they was planting bullshit ass articles back then. So yeah, it's not surprising that the journalists are really keeping Marathon in the news feed of whatever you are, whether that's YouTube, whatever feed you're on, IG, whatever. Listen, we all know the fire that Sony is putting on the asses that is Bungie right now. I think they're threatening Bungie like, hey, if this is not a hit and does not generate good money, we are going to start dictating what you do in the future. I believe that's pretty much what's going on and why they've been putting so much pressure. And like we said, Marathon was first shown off like a year or so ago with a demo, and it was so disastrous they had to put it back in the oven. Mind you, we did the Service Land, we played it. It felt like some stuff still needed to be baked. So I did a little looking because I was just curious. I haven't played Destiny 2 in years. So I was just like, what is the player count for Destiny 2 right now? I I know. Destiny 2 still does numbers because pretty much when it first came out, it was such an empty shell that I got bored of it and I was like, I'm over this shit. And I never went back. Like I said, once I leave a game, I leave it. I don't go back normally. Destiny 2 concurrent players on Steam for this Lightfall expansion launch that was, 2023, but that shit had 316,000 concurrent players. Even the final shape that was released in 2024 concurrent players was over 314,000. Like, that's blowing the doors off even Arc Raiders numbers on Steam. Now, I will say more recent launches, maybe because, people are getting a little fed up with the game now. It's been out for a fucking long time now that I think about it. The Edge of Faith expansion that was released in 2025 peaked around 100,000 concurrent players, but still, I think once you start looking like, hey, this was supposed to be their next big thing. So I think Sony was looking like, hey, you should at least do over 200K easy. Because Destiny 2 did it for years, multiple years, 2019, 2020, 22, 24, all had well over 200,000 concurrent players. Listen, let me not put any disrespect on Destiny 2. I did not know it was that successful. God damn. Like, still, I didn't think it was relevant because I just never went back. Maybe that was a disservice for myself, but damn. So I don't think Sony or PlayStation, and even Bungie, thinks 88,000 concurrent players is going to cut it. When you ask, is Marathon a hit? And it can't even really stay on par with Arc Raiders that's been out since October. And you're the new kid on the block, you fresh meat, and you can't even beat your Service Slam numbers. It's not looking too good for Bungie and Sony right now. Now, maybe you feel different. There are people that enjoy Marathon. I did give it praise, and maybe not enough praise. The shooting is immaculate. It feels beautiful. And I don't like fucking first person shooters, but god damn it, that shit feels fucking amazing. I think Bungie needs to patent that and sell that shit to Call of Duty or Battlefield, because that shit feels a fucking amazing. Like, beautiful. 10 out of 10 chef's fucking kiss. But everything outside of that, the fucking UI, the fucking emptiness, the not really know what the fuck you're doing, like, and then I had to later think about it. I was like, when I was playing Arc Raiders, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew how to fucking heal myself. I knew what buttons to fucking push. With Marathon, I don't know. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Maybe my attention span is getting off as I get older, but bitch, I was clueless and I was lost for a lot. But, I'll let my cousin give his 2 cents. But at the end of the day, I think Bungie's in trouble. What do you think, Infamous?
Yeah, Bungie is in trouble. It has been reported. It has been reported that if Marathon fails, Sony will fully absorb Bungie into the conglomerate of Sony Group.
That's the word I was looking for.
Because right now they have a kind of autonomy to operate how they so choose to. They kind of are outside little circle of PlayStation. But if Marathon fails,
it's a wrap.
Because from their disaster numbers with the last expansion, they're not meeting their projection goals and everything. They have slowly been piecemealing Bungie staff and putting them into key points where they needed them inside the rest of PlayStation. I'm not surprised about this whole thing with Marathon. Miss has been telling you all for the longest, people are really fed up with this live service shit. They just are. This is a live service game. The people have spoken when they showed this off earlier during alphas and betas and everything. People told them, hey, you should not make this $40. This should be free to play. Arc Raiders is $40. Okay, that's its own thing.
That's an anomaly.
Hell, $40. That's its own thing. Those are two totally different games.
That's another anomaly. Like, even lightning in the bottles.
Arc Raiders is a extraction shooter. It's something fresh. It's new. It's different. The only reason this game is titled Marathon is because of brand recognition from an old franchise that Bungie used to work on, and they felt that, we call it Marathon. People will buy it. It's not working. That did not happen.
I didn't know
Even when they announced it. Yes, there was an old FPS shooter that Bungie used to work on before Halo. It was called Marathon. When people heard that Marathon was coming back, that's what they thought it was. Even before the extraction shooter, this game was supposed to be something else. It's supposed to be a hero shooter, a Class S shooter. And then for whatever reason, they pivoted and was like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do an extraction. Everybody was like, what the fuck are you talking about? That ain't what you make. And that ain't what the fuck we want. Well, you fucked around and now they found out.
See,
plain, simple, period.
You started in a black hole.
I'm just saying, people are not keen on this,
can't.
and it's not even just that people are tired of the live service games and the live service bullshit. There are games that people have already invested their time and their money. Why should someone who's been playing Fortnite for 5 years stop playing that with all their skins, all the stuff they've had,
Well,
and then
V-Bucks are
and then
more
try
expensive
this?
right now.
Why would someone leave Fortnite? Or I don't know how
Arc
successful Apex
Raiders
Legends.
or
Raiders,
even
something that they've already.
Helldivers.
Yeah, even
Helldivers
Helldivers.
is
Why someone who's already invested their time in something else go out and buy? That's the key operative word. Buy this, try this, and then be
$40.
like, I don't like this, and then you're not
Yeah.
spend your $40. So
Yeah.
it's like, hey,
And and we'll get into this in a later topic, but there's also some things coming out about how they're going to do stuff, and players are not happy about that. So you already start off where players had a different expectations. They thought this was something else. Then you put extraction shooter. I know extraction shooter is a hot commodity right now, but let's not ever mistake like the big fish are the big fish, and don't ever compare and think you're going to be on a big fish level. I think a lot of developers and studios think because they put like they're coming in a space that is so hot, which is extraction shooters, that we can expect to be on Arc Raiders level. No, the fuck you cannot. No. And then I remember when we did the Server Slam, a lot of, or even before that, we was talking about this. People was like, yeah, $40 is too much for what they're saying, and even with the beta, and people were like, you cannot charge $40 for this. And Bungie Destiny 2 was a full price game, if I remember right.
yes, it
Destiny
was.
2,
Destiny
yes.
2 was a full price before they made it free to
And,
play.
and when I say that shit was not worth a full price game when it launched, it was so empty and generic and plain, and we didn't even get that many play hours out of it. So I remember playing it, and when I saw the fucking credits and shit, I was like, that was it. I don't think I bought it, so I really wasn't that mad at it at the time. But you cannot do that in 2026. Like, it's in point Battlefield 6. Now it's having massive layoffs, and the studio's getting cut and all that. That was full price. Now this is $40, but you gotta come correct that $40. Like, look at Helldivers and Arc Raiders, what they're doing, how they're maintaining, and why they have the player count. Helldivers just had a 2-year peak, 2 years after launch. That is unheard of. No one is doing that. That is not the norm. So you cannot enter the space thinking, oh yeah, you're going to be on their level. No, the fuck you're not. No, you're not. These studios are so delusional. Sometimes I be wanting to slap the back of the head of whoever be green lighting this shit. Like, what the fuck were you thinking? Like, seriously. You really thought this was going to work out? Yeah, so very delusional. I feel like this is going to end up in people being laid off at Bungie, and who knows the future of Bungie right now with this. But listen, I can confidently say that 88,000 concurrent players is not good enough and will not be good enough. Especially, you got to think that player count dips under 50K. Yeah, but Bungie's in a world of hurt. But let us know in the comments down below. Did you think Marathon met expectations or fell short with concurrent players, or peak? That's actually peak. It's actually at 30 to 60 right now. So they're already dipping under 50,000 concurrent players. So it's just not looking good right now for Bungie, but we see them all hopes and well wishes for everybody to keep their jobs over there. And let us know in the comments down below what you think and how you feel. All right. Early impressions for Ghost of Yōtei Legend modes are finally starting to surface, and fans are already asking a huge question: is it actually better than Tsushima's Legend mode? Because let's be honest, the original Ghost of Tsushima Legends completely surprised people. It turned a single-player samurai game into one of the most fun and beloved co-op experience PlayStation at the time, or ever, or even for a number of years. So now the pressure is on, because Ghost of Yōtei is bringing Legends back. It can't just be good. It has to be better. It has to be great. So here's what early impressions are saying so far. Ghost of Yōtei Legend modes looks like it's expanding on the co-op formula with new enemies, deeper character abilities, and bigger mission structures designed for team play. But the big debate right now is whether these changes actually evolve the mode, or if it's just more of the same, because Tsushima's Legends mode set a really high bar powerful multiplayer in a single player franchise. So the real question is, can Ghost of Yōtei make Legends modes feel fresh again, or is it chasing the magic of the original? Listen, I'm gonna answer that real quick. It's definitely chasing the magic of the original. I was a very infatuated. I stated this in past videos earlier. If you don't know, you know. If you're been listening to the show since it came out, I am very much was a lover, a beloved. Ghost of Tsushima Legends Mode could do no wrong. It was perfect, and I played it 5 years after it launched, and 5 years after it said, "Hey, we ain't giving no more updates." Even though I was like, "Bruh, I will pay you money if you gave updates," and they was just like, "Nah, we out." That was very disheartening, and I was very heartbroken too. But I definitely do feel like it's chasing the magic of the original one. But let me just say, if you're someone who played the original for years, this is a different experience. It is different. Now, is it good different or not? You know, that's for the individual to make on their own. Personally, if I had to pick which one would I prefer over the other, I'm definitely picking the original Legend mode over this. I feel like a lot of stuff is convoluted. They did too much in certain areas, and then in others I was kind of like, you could have did more. I don't know. I don't always think adding stuff is beneficial for the game. Hey, some people like fresh shit and shit they didn't expect, and completely opposite of what the experience they had the first go around. Listen, now me saying I prefer the original one over this is not to say that this isn't a fun experience at sometimes, that I didn't enjoy playing this at times. Yeah, I talked to my cousin initially, and then I was like, no, let me not be so hard on the game. Let me give it some more time, give it some more time. Let me not be have a knee-jerk reaction just off a few playthroughs. Let me play it some more. So I played it all today while I was waiting on my cousin to get off work. Did start to have a better experience as I played on. But anyway, I'm just going to go through a few scenes that I wanted to point out because it's very different from the first one. So this scene, when you got into Legends mode, it was very simplistic, very like, hey, pick this, go here, pick your little weapons, and bada boom, bada bam, you're in the game. This, you have a whole interactive solo like arena. So you see off of the distance, you see the Torii Gate, and to the right you can modify your character. That's why it's got the samurai, the archer, the assassin logos in the little banner. And then to the left is like where you confirm unlocks of cosmetics. This is very convoluted. This is why I say it's convoluted. I don't think this little arena where you can walk around is beneficial to the game. Now behind it, this is how it starts. This is behind you. This is a whole training area where you can practice on defense, offense, certain things to get acclimated with the game. I do like the training area. Don't get me wrong, but that could have been just like a little tab. Like I didn't need to run to it, and like this whole maybe if this was like something like Arc Raiders where you can like have a whole little area you can walk up to other people. Maybe it was something like that. I can understand, but it just feels very empty. Like I'm like, okay, but like that's cool, but like you could have just kept it how it was. Now some people might love this. I'm not really a fan. All right, so now after you go straight to that little Torii Gate that you see in the middle of this banner, this is when you get the menu options: quick play, campaign, survival, raid. Now this is the quick play. If you played the original, this is when shit starts looking very familiar. Okay, cool. This is the campaign. These are the missions. The whole Legends mode is really based off the single player experience. The spider, the Oni, the Kitsune, the spider. If you play the single player experience, you know all those characters. They're part of the Yōtei 6 and blah 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 blah. So campaign missions, I haven't started it because my cousin did not get off in time before the show, so we couldn't play. But yeah, that's the campaign. This is survival. You got once again the little main people from the Yōtei 6. Different fighting arenas. They have their strengths, they have their weaknesses. Some of these maps you will feel like, oh, this kind of reminds me of that one map on in Ghost of Tsushima. Like, oh yeah, this is like it looks like the birth. They kept certain elements the same. Like there's a snow map. If you know Bloods in the Snow, Bloods in the Leaves, wherever that one map was. There's certain contrasts between the original Legend modes and this Legend modes map modes and the raids. So the raids are coming soon. They're not active. Not really sure when that's going to come or what that's going to entail. But yeah, the raid tab is locked. And so once you start a match, you come into this little interactive area and you run towards the Torii gate in the back. Now, this little interactive scene or moment gives you a last chance to modify your character. Now, what I do like, hey, you can have a team full of samurai. You don't have to have, you're not bound to having each class type in the mode. You can have, I had a match where it was like 3 samurai, 1 archer. Like it was fucking totally, and mind you, it was a totally different experience when you have multiple samurai. And then, so it's funny that they was like, oh, whatever you want of the same characters you want to do, hey, that's on you. So yeah, this is a little interactive. Once you pass these little floaty rocks, it starts a 30-second countdown. So whoever is fucking changing their class at the last second. But like, this could have been done, like, bro, do this before we start the match. I don't like this whole area. Like, motherfucking, you pick your class, you change your class, you modify your class before you jump into this. Like, why have a 30-second countdown area? I personally do not like that. Like, this is delaying my experience of me playing on the game. Like, bruh, pick your shit up front before you get to this point. So I don't really like that. I think they need to kind of do away with this, but you could disagree with me, and that's totally fine. And so this is the screen you come to when you see once you complete a mission or survival mode. Like you see, I completed 12 out of 12 waves, and it shows you all of your loot basically, and your rank at the bottom and blase blase. This is very different than the original. The original, yeah, it'll tell you, I think it did tell you your loot, but then you can see your stats for the match. You can't see your stats when you in the mode, or if you fail the mode, or if you pass the mode. It doesn't show you your stats. It just shows you your loot. And you have to come back to this interactive area and click this little floaty note to see your previous mission stats. Now, maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Maybe there is a tab over somewhere in here, but from the looks of it, it is not. You have to come to this little floaty note in this interactive area to see your stats. I don't like that. Don't like that. Like, there's no need for this floaty map. Just show me my motherfucking stats when I beat the fucking thing. I'm not gonna always remember and then too, like, why? Why waste my time to go to this floaty map to see my fucking numbers? Just show me my numbers when I fucking complete the shit. Even the pass or fail. Show me my fucking numbers. Yeah, so these are some main scenes that I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to point out. Some things look familiar. It's just interactive. It's really this interactive area. I don't like it. Like the training area is cool, but that could have been a tab. Like, the whole you just seeing your loot seems like, what the fuck? Show me my motherfucking stats. Like, yeah, those were some main points I wanted to point out about the Legends mode. Like I said, I was very hard on it, and I talked to my cousin initially, and I was like, yo, you gotta play it so I can kind of self-correct if I'm being too hard on it. Now, some people are going to say, hey, this is completely free. Okay, but the first one was, and it was fucking great. It was fucking chef's kiss, and it was fucking fabulous. You built the expectation. That is on you. It is not my place to come dumb myself down after you given me such a well-established experience the first time around, and you come back to the well and you don't do it as good or even better than the first time. So that's not on me. I'm not going to dumb down my expectations. Now, you can say, hey, your expectations are too high. I don't think having an expectation of saying, hey, all this interactive area is unnecessary. Like, get me into the game as quick as possible. That's not outrageous. Let me say, for the gameplay, the actual mechanics of fighting, if you played the first one, it's just a different experience. Listen, and I say the word convoluted because the single player with the multiple weapons that the bitch had, Atsu, Like, how do I phrase this and not shit on the game? It was just, I can't, it's convoluted, okay? So many weapons. Like, adding shit is not always fucking good. And I give fucking the nod to Tsushima because it has this simple, systematic fucking gameplay that I like. Now, people can say, oh, well, this gameplay, because there's so many different variations of fighting style, you need to have a strategy. You need to have a strategy. There's no more dumb fucking swinging a sword and blah, 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 blah in this Legends mode. And I'm like, it's an online experience. You're fighting waves on top of waves on top of waves. I don't need to be like, oh, I need to switch to my fucking third set of fucking weapons to hit this fucking combo to make it past this fucking enemy that has this certain weapon. That's just not an enjoyable experience. Now, I'm playing a samurai. Samurai is supposed to be a tank. Listen, when you start off the game, you get touched. You get your shit pushed in. Motherfucking hit you once, you barely survive it. And he hit you a second time, you're out. You're down. You get hit twice while you in bronze and while you're trying to learn a game, you are down. It's so fucking annoying. And yes, ability to add to your health and all that comes as you play the fucking game, but that's fucking annoying when you start off. You have to be really, really conscious of what you're doing with which enemy. Now, as a samurai, you have the benefit of being able to unlock all the weapons that Atsu had. So you can fight any fucking enemy type and line up your weapon with their weapon, so you can, not be fucking hitting a motherfucker a million times to get one hit because he has a certain weapon, you have a certain weapon. Yeah, like the whole strategy and what people are pumping up, and I'm like, dude, but you're playing survival. You're going through 20 waves. Like, I don't want to always worry about what weapon I have. Like, yo, give me what was the sword that you could battle any fucking stand or any type of enemy? Like, give me that, and maybe I will get something to that sword, and I won't have to be worrying about which weapon with which enemy type. But from the looks of it, you have to be conscious of what you're using and how you're fighting which enemy with which weapon. So that's kind of like my initial thoughts. But I will say, if you like the first one and you love the first one, it's going to take you time to get adjusted. And really, even if you play, unless you play the single player nonstop, you haven't had a long time since you beat Ghost of Yōtei, and now you're coming back to Legends mode, baby, it's an adjustment. It just is. Because I beat Ghost of Yōtei months ago. So now I forgot how to fucking play. So the switching of weapons and which weapon really goes with which enemy that's holding which weapon, I still be like, okay, what the fuck? Which weapon do I need to do? But it's a little convoluted. The UI is a little convoluted. And I talked to my cousin about this. I was like, listen, the makers of Marathon is for PlayStation. The makers of this and Sucker Punch is for PlayStation. Both of these games having convoluted looking ass menus it's a very large coincidence. And then some of the visuals and cosmetics, don't get me wrong, the colors are not all in your face and the contrast, but little similarities. I see PlayStation has a little same even between different titles. And these are different studios. I'm not going to say they shared developers or makers, but there's certain things that I'd be like, is this a Sony dictatorship? Because why just convolute the UI like they did with this interactive map area, and it's just you by yourself? So honestly, I would have just kept the simplicity of the first one with the selections and how you get in the game and all that. I don't know, but listen, this is something different. I will give them that. It's a completely different experience from the first one. Right now, my impressions, the first one is better. I'm not going to say I haven't had fun moments, fun times. I am still trying to get my bearings, even after playing 30 survival matches. I still haven't moved up to silver yet. I still haven't played the 2-player co-op mission modes. We're gonna do that later, so I'll get some footage up on the channel. It takes a minute. You're gonna struggle up front unless you've been playing Ghost of Yōtei this entire time. So I don't know if my cousin have anything to add on top of that. I know you did the tutorial. What did you think about the tutorial section? Did you like it? Did you not like it? How did you think about it?
Me personally, there's something off with it. I couldn't put my face. I
It's
couldn't put
off
my
is
finger
crazy.
on it, but I was like, while I was playing, and I was like, maybe it's because I just ain't played this shit in so long. Like something is off. You had talked about the character design and the yellow eye thing and how Marathon has that. I get you saying, but I'm like, those are two totally different studios. Why would they share anything on this? But I mean, you were kind of on the nose with it, but all I did was a tutorial. I didn't have a chance to, get deep into it, life be lifing. I'm more than willing to try it out, try to give more attention into it. I think they kind of more from face surface value. It seems like they try to do and add a lot more. You got your 3 chapters of whatever, and the incursion and everything. It seems like, they were really wanting to do more in a sense with it, but at the same time, I want to ask myself, like, how much of this are you all going to commit to this, to enjoying a sense? Because I don't know if I'm wrong or remembering wrongly. The first one didn't get supported that long. And I know that was one thing that used to
Yeah.
really bother me. They
Yeah.
kind of put it out and I was like, all right, here you go, bye.
Yeah.
And a lot of glitches or issues with it. People were like, yo, what the fuck?
And they
And they just never.
yeah, the last update pissed a lot of people and they never just like, "Hey, we gonna undo it since it pissed off so many people." No, they just dipped. Like, "Fuck you for that." Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people were just like, I like even me, and I'll admit this. I do have a lot of high expectations of a lot of things. I'm like, how I get let down so much. But I expected another raid. I expected more support, more content. And it was like, yeah, we just make this mode and got this. It's like, yo. So I'm optimistic. I'm also kind of just like, hey, I'll wait and see. But from the little bit, that I have seen, I'm like, okay,
It's
looks
definitely
okay,
something
but
different.
something is off. Something
Yeah.
is different. I don't know what it is. Something is off, and a piece of me is just like, why? But we will definitely give a more hands-on impression and come back to this later on.
Yeah, because we're gonna do the co-op missions. I mean, at minimum, we'll go through all of that for sure. And so that's kind of my impressions. It's very, very, very different. It's gonna take you quite a long time to get accustomed to the fight style and quote unquote the whole strategy fighting thing. I don't know who fucking just ran rampant on Twitter. I was like, oh, you need strategy. You just can't go swinging a sword. Like, bro, you spinning waves on top of waves on top of waves. I don't want to be doing that much thinking. Like Legends mode, it was so secondhand nature because it was so simplistic. And then people was riding the fucking dick of this game talking about, oh, look at all the cosmetics. Now I know there's some grinders people of cosmetics. You will grind a fucking game out to unlock all this cosmetics. But when I saw the list, I'm like, I'm not doing all that. I'm not gonna unlock all this cosmetic shit. It's just too much. And I think people get misconstrued with thinking because you added all this bullshit, and added all these distractions over here, that distracts from this over here. Like, no, I don't give a fuck about cosmetics at the end of the day. That's why I don't spend microtransactions on cosmetics on any motherfucking game, even Arc Raiders. Anyway, listen, this is just an impression. We'll probably, like I said, we're gonna be releasing content as we play the game, and I'll release some survival shit just so people can see what the fuck I'm talking about. If you haven't bought this game and you don't have Legends mode or whatever, but definitely let us know how you feel and what you think. And Ghost of Yōtei Legends modes live up to the Ghost of Tsushima Legends mode. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. All right, the BAFTA Game Awards 2026 nominations are out, and they're already sparking debate across the gaming industry. Because when you look at the list, something jumps out immediately. A lot of the biggest AAA blockbusters are missing, while smaller and story-driven games are dominating the nominations. And that raises a pretty big question. Are AAA games starting to lose their creative edge? Or are the award shows just shifting towards the kinds of games that take bigger storytelling risk? So here's what we're seeing with the nominations this year. Several indie and narrative focused titles picked up major recognition across the categories, while some of the industry's biggest budget games were either nominated less than expected or not at all. And that's fueling a bigger conversation about where gaming creativity is actually happening right now. Are indie developers pushing the medium forward while AAA studios studios focus on safer formulas. Or the award show just awarding a different type of experience? Because the BAFTAs might be signaling a bigger shift happening across the industry. All right, so listen, let me go first. This is not nothing new. Since the Game Awards, indie has been putting belt to fucking ass on the AAA games. Listen, let me just round of fucking applause for the fucking indie studios. You know, for the little guys that's really looking at the big guys like, we can do better than that. And not only can we do it better than that, we can do it better than you. And they have. They like belt the ass, you know, fucking Arc Raiders, fucking Expedition 33, fucking Kingdom Deliverance. Oh, fucking, hey, Silk Song is snubbed from Best Game nominees of 2026. I'm going to just say that outright right now. But, you know, Dispatch, indies have just, like I said, belt the fucking ass. A commenter just commented on one of our past fucking videos. It was just like, yo, no one's want this fucking online service, AAA, Battlefield, Call of Duty slop any fucking more. Not only are some of these indies doing better than AAA, but they're doing it for a fucking more affordable price. What the fuck? Arc Raiders was $40. Like, don't get me wrong, that's an online game, but listen, some of these indie games, Silk Song, you know, very affordable. Let's not ever misconstrue how AAA has gotten too comfortable for selling us fucking slop. Broken experience on launch. Empty experiences on launch. And with the promise that, oh, we'll fix the game later after we've already given you $60, $70, bitch. Get the fuck out of here. So shout out to the fucking indies, even at this, you know, BAFTA fucking Game Awards, you know, British, you know, whatever the long title is. Shout out to them recognizing and not having industry pressure like, oh, we need to have this AAA game here so we can get views. No, they said, bitch, we're going to give it to who's fucking deserve it. Now, Expedition could win Best Game of 2026 because they ran away with the awards at the Game Awards. But listen, I feel like Silk Song should have been a part of this nomination. I know Indiana Jones, the Great Circle was a big deal for some people, but I don't know blueprints. I'm very ignorant. Ghost of Yōtei, get the fuck out of here. Ghost of Yōtei could have been replaced with Silk Song. Let's just be honest. Ghost of Yōtei was fucking trash. Okay, let me use my platform responsibly. It wasn't trash. It just wasn't a great fucking story or game and I don't understand what took them 5 years. But that's just me. I'll let Infamous go because he is a champion of indie games. He's bought a lot of indie games. He's actually, I think, given money to a Kickstarter for an indie game. So I'll let him go.
I don't know Ghost of Yōtei or Indiana Jones on this list. Those are not indies.
Well,
those are backed by huge fucking publishers and platforms. But
Kingdom Deliverance should have been on here over Indiana Jones. I mean,
absolutely.
Probably over Dispatch. I know a lot of people love Dispatch, but I think
Dispatch is indie.
Yeah, I know, but this is the Best Game nominees of 2026. This is not an indie category.
Oh, just the best games. Oh,
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's other categories, but yeah, this is not an indie category. This is Best Game of 2026. So Ghost of Yōtei, get the fuck out of here.
Kingdom Come steady getting snubbed, and I don't understand how or why when so many people praise and love it. I'm not real big and huge on the more realistic X type games, but Infamous does love him a good RPG. But I see 3 games on here that I'm not surprised to see. 33, Blueprints, and Arc Raiders. I know Blueprints was really turning heads. I don't get the game.
What is that? I don't even know what that is. What is that?
So it's a game where you're like locked in some mansion and you need to choose wisely where and which doors you choose to unlock. You're
like
looking
a mystery
for
game?
It's hard to put into words because I haven't played it. But I have seen people play it and talk about it, and it's interesting. It's something different. And Infamous is all about interesting and something different. And of course, that's what people are clamoring for.
It's very what's the comic
artsy?
books Arts. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
This
Yeah,
is not
I
a game
have
for
heard people
me.
talk about it. I know that game has gotten a lot of praise. I'm not interested in that type of game. Arc
Yeah.
Raiders, Arc Raiders, steady doing it, shattering records, putting these fucking big corporations to shame. Keep doing it, and of course, the indie darling of last year,
The
Expedition 33.
Cinderella story
The
of the
Cinderella
fucking
story. One of these
yeah.
days when that fucking game goes on sale, we'll get it. Not right now.
Look, it might not
Not
go
right
so
now.
now that
Too much
won
shit
all
going
these
on.
fucking awards.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad to see gamers, consumers as a whole show up because you
Yeah.
can't keep clamoring for different new try something, but you don't respond. You don't show up and support.
Mhm.
And 3 of these games are something different and it's testing the waters and are highly succeeding. So I just want to say congratulations to them. I
Yeah.
know the BAFTA Awards does not get a lot of mainstream attention. The people who do know, they know. And it is you can say smaller than Jeff Keighley's The Game Awards. People do pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna say I really feel Ghost of Yōtei and Indiana Jones are only on here just because one is a big Microsoft thing, another one's a big Xbox thing, just to try to level the playing field because neither one of these games were kind of huge mainstream. They were kind of drops in the water. Ghost of Yōtei was
Well,
made people feel like
let Sony tell it. Ghost of Yōtei was Game of the Year at their award show.
yeah,
The
no,
fuck, so
no,
embarrassing,
no.
so embarrassing.
No, Ghost of Yōtei made people feel and miss the first game. And Indiana Jones, I've heard good things about it, but one thing I have heard from a lot of people is the game should have been third person. I've heard that from so
Yeah,
many people.
yeah.
And there are other Indiana
But
Jones
people
games
love
that were
it
made.
though. People do
People
like
do
it.
like it. People do enjoy it. And I'll just say this. When it was announced who was making it, I'm like, Luke, are they going to make this first person? Because that studio just makes first person games. They make the Wolfenstein
Yeah.
games. I have not gotten to Indiana Jones, even though I do have Game Pass and it's always there. And one day I will get to it. But I am happy and ecstatic. 3 indie games are on this list. And indies have been tearing it up these last couple of years. So I hope to
Belt the
continue
ass.
see
Belt
that
the
same
ass.
success. Absolutely. Because Arc Raiders has had and still maintain up to 500,000 player base consistently, sometimes over. You have big companies that's not maintaining it. So keep it
Mhm.
going. Keep it going. I will stand on what I said though, and you can say this is biased because Infamous you just love RPGs. Income Deliverance. That game was really tearing it up and was really hotly talked about when it came out. How it improved so much off of the first game. How it really goes back to the roots of a role playing game. But I do know to some people the way that game is designed, it is not for everyone. So hey, to
Yeah.
each their own. But best game, Yōtei.
No, absolutely not. The fuck out of here.
I could think of some other stuff that came out that probably could have went up there, but hey,
I mean, Kingdom Deliverance definitely should have been on this list. Silk Song should have definitely been on this list before Indiana and Ghost of Yōtei. Like, Silk Song being off this list, like, I would have put Silk Song over Dispatch. Well, no, probably, well, definitely over Blueprints just because I don't know what the fuck that is. And no, yeah, Silk Song I think is definitely snubbed from this list. Kingdom Deliverance is definitely snubbed. No, somebody from PlayStation paid for Ghost of Yōtei to be on this nomination list. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, listen, these are the nominees. There's some other categories, but these are, the best game nominees for 2026 at this Game Awards show. And I still just want to leave off on this. People are tired of broken games,
yep,
incomplete games, and promises that,
yep,
we'll come back and fix it.
yep.
There is no more room in 2026 going forward for an Anthem. No one is putting up with that shit in gaming right now. Games are too fucking expensive. Life is too motherfucking expensive and too motherfucking hard. Where a dollar is hard as it ever has been to earn. Gamers are not wasting their fucking money on bullshit like Anthem. And I'm going to continue to fucking emphasize that because people always like, we need a multiplayer game. We need a multiplayer game. That's how we make money. Live service game. That shit is a dying breed. Not everybody can be Arc Raiders. Not everybody can be a Helldivers. Listen, single player, well-established stories is what's paying people bills in 2026 going forward. That's why Resident Evil sold 5 million copies in days. It was a single player narrative fucking story. All these fucking bullshit delusional studios and developers, please take notes. In 2026, we're not putting up with bullshit and Anthem and broken games and multiplayer slop. Let me speak on behalf of the gaming fucking population, okay? Stop with the bullshit. And then double A, keep putting the belt ass on these AAA developers because they need to fucking do better. Like my cousin always say, oh, exclusive breeds competition. Okay, double A doing so well is gonna put a fucking noose, or let me not, okay, it's gonna just continue to put the emphasis on a standard of what gamers expect out of a fucking $60-$70 fucking game and give you a better experience for less money. Then AAA ain't got no fucking excuse. You got the studios, you got the money, you got the employee count. There's no way AA should be just outdoing you in every facet of game making. It's really embarrassing. But, definitely let us know, are indie and narrative games overtaking AAA fucking prestige like franchises or studios? Let us know in the comments down below what you think and how you feel. Okay, NVIDIA just made a big move in cloud gaming. It expanded its GeForce Now platform, with more games, more features, and deeper integration with players' existing libraries. And every time something like this happens, the same question comes up again. Are consoles eventually going to become obsolete? Because the promise of cloud gaming has always been simple: play high-end games without needing expensive hardware. If streaming keeps improving, we might be heading towards a future where the most powerful gaming device you need is just your internet connection. All right, so what NVIDIA is actually doing, the company is expanding GeForce Now in new supported games, stronger platform features, and easier ways for players to connect their libraries from service like Steam and other storefronts. The goal is to make cloud gaming feel less like a separate ecosystem and more like an extension of the games you already own. But the big debate remains, can cloud gaming really replace traditional hardware? Because while the technology keeps improving, things like internet speed, latency, and ownership concerns still raise big questions on whether streaming can truly compete with consoles and PCs. All right, so let me just say, I am not a fan of NVIDIA. I'm not a fan of NVIDIA moves and business practices or anything that they do. I probably will never support NVIDIA in any type of form or fashion if I can do so, because I am a firm believer of not supplying dumbasses with my money. And I'm going to use such strong language because NVIDIA you can only play our games or service our games for a number of hours and you have to pay the same price, and the whole fucking shit that they launch about the whole fucking, you can only, I think, what was it, 100 hours or something? It was something fucking outrageous. And only 15 of those hours rolled over. Listen, I thought people were going to fucking riot. But maybe NVIDIA gaming GeForce is not that big. I should have looked at the numbers. Forgive me, I didn't even think to look it up as I talk. Listen, maybe it just didn't have enough player count to really piss people off. Now, some people commented, hey, I work, I'm not gonna play over 100 hours, but it became such a it was a nasty business move because it started putting a price on time, and I find that to be very dangerous as technology and gaming evolves and this cloud shit forever evolving. But whatever, that's not this topic. Let me focus. Expanding cloud gaming. Listen, can this replace consoles? I'm gonna be honest, this is the narrative that Xbox and Microsoft had all those years ago, where they said, hey, eventually we want to go away from hardware and we want you to be able to tap in and play our games on anything. That's why the whole, hey, you're not a PC gamer, you're not an Xbox gamer, you're not a PlayStation gamer, you're a fucking gamer. So if you game on your fucking TV, we want the money from that. You game on your fucking Steam Deck, we want the money from that. You game on your fucking phone, we want the money from that. That's where that whole narrative came from. So And I gotta choose my words very carefully because I am a digital game buyer. I like the conveniency. I haven't been inconvenienced enough to be like, oh, I need to buy shit very physically. So I get the whole attraction of cloud gaming. Let me not ever sound like a fucking hypocrite. I understand because I buy digital games. I haven't bought a physical game in years. I can probably hear people gasp. I don't like NVIDIA though at the end of the day. So fuck NVIDIA at the end of the day. I say fuck everybody, they do something shady, but very much fuck NVIDIA. Can this replace consoles? Listen, I think we're decades out from that ever being a real debate because people, it's just traditionally accustomed to buying hardware, whether that's PC, a Xbox, a PlayStation, Nintendo. Listen, I don't think Nintendo is ever gonna put their shit up for any other platform because they just believe our shit is our shit and we rather close the doors before you can play our shit on any other type of platform, whether that's cloud gaming or any other console. So I feel like studios are never going to allow that to happen. PlayStation is never going, they are going to beat they fucking life in before they say, hey, we're not going to sell you a fucking console every 6 to 7 years. That's how PlayStation make money. They're not like Microsoft. They don't have big dick Microsoft money like Xbox does. So they very much lifespan and life is dependent on these consoles. Hell, they sell you a main generation upgrade every 7 years, and then they sell you a refresh version, the PS5 Pro, within the next 3 years or 4 years, wherever it is. So listen, I don't think Sony, especially Sony, let me say that. I don't think Sony and Nintendo is ever going to allow you to get out of purchasing hardware because it's not in their best interest. Their infrastructure and all that is not in place for that. Now, Microsoft and Xbox, that's a whole different bag of bananas. Okay, you know we don't know what the fuck they're doing at any given day. I mean, they just fired their fucking head person. They're saying all this hoopla and making all these blank checks that they ass probably can't cash in 3 years. But I would say that Sony and Nintendo is not going to allow you to do away with hardware purchasing every so many years because the whole business models, their whole lifespan and survivability is dependent on the hardware, and the hardware is dependent on their exclusives. So they speculate to accumulate hardware and exclusives. So I don't see that happening in the next 10 plus years. And you can say, oh, well, in 15 years, something could be different for Sony, especially. I think Nintendo is going to die and live by hardware. Sony, yeah, maybe something can change in 15 years, but I doubt it. If I was a betting motherfucker, I doubt they'll ever wake up a day and say, hey, you don't need to buy a PlayStation. Because they already copyrighted PlayStation 6, 7, and 8. So that should tell you where their mindset heading. But Infamous, what do you think? Do you think cloud gaming could? I already know your answer, but I'll just ask for the sake of the video.
Hell no. Cloud gaming ain't gonna overtake console. Cloud gaming in itself is still struggling. You're not toppling or disrupting anybody's business model, especially consoles. And you've already kind of broken down to a degree, so I'm not going to harp on this too much longer. But PlayStation is in the business of selling consoles. Nintendo is in the business of selling consoles. Those Japanese people, they're very stubborn. They're very, very unlikely to change their ways, especially if it's something tried and true, works, and they're good at it. They're good at it. This cloud gaming shit, this is the Americans trying to nickel and dime and take the easy route, and it just ain't working. Because if it was, the adoption rate would be going through the roof.
Yeah.
The network infrastructure around states will be going up. These companies will be pumping billions into making sure everyone's internet is...
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Some people ain't got good internet.
Because you have people who live in rural areas where internet ain't great. Go gaming. And while they make sure, hey, I can go ahead and play and do all this. So it's cloud gaming to some people. That's like, hey, that's a dream. They're like, cloud. I play it through my TV. What? They don't know what the hell you talking about with that. No, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. And as long as you have Nintendo around, there will be physical somewhere. Some people are going to buy it. That's just how it is.
Hardware is never going away for Nintendo.
Hardware ain't going away because 2 out of the 3 major players, they have seen success. Nintendo and Microsoft, they sell consoles. That's their bread and butter. They make the moolah from The hardware. No, that ain't
Well,
happening.
Nintendo and PlayStation.
I'm sorry, yeah, Nintendo and PlayStation.
Yeah,
No, I don't believe this
Microsoft.
is going anywhere.
Microsoft. They, like I said, they are, their minds are in outer space sometimes. And who knows? Maybe I said, hey, either in 5 years they're gonna look like geniuses or they're gonna continue to look like dumbasses. I said that on past Microsoft and Xbox videos. So, but yeah, no, consoles and hardware sales. It's just too much of a business model for Sony and Nintendo. As long as, listen, you always gonna have Nintendo selling hardware. There's no way around it. So one out of the three is always gonna sell hardware, and really it's two out of three because, bruh, Sony sold off so much of their other businesses like TVs and DVD makers and cameras and blah blah blah.
Camera.
Like, yo, so much of the dependency of the longevity and the lifeline of the company is dependent on console sales. So listen, that's why they brag that the PS5 sold over 90 million. Like they are very braggadocious about that, and that's not by accident. So, and they're not gonna ever let there be a generation where they cannot have the opportunity to then again sell 90 million consoles. They even brought out this little dumbass little handheld shit, whatever, at one point. So they're not getting out of hardware. This is a pipe dream, and fuck NVIDIA at the end of the day. They doing nasty shit in all facets of business, whether that's fucking CPUs, GPUs, whatever the fuck they sell, and overpricing and charging $5,000. Fuck NVIDIA. But listen, could streaming eventually replace consoles? Let me ask you, the viewership, to comment down in the comment sections below. Let us know what you think and how you feel, and we'll definitely see you there. But that is all this week of gaming chaos. NVIDIA, the BAFTA Game Award nominees, Ghost of Yōtei Legends Mode Marathon, and EA Layoffs hitting Battlefield 6. But yeah, we covered a lot. Definitely let us know what you think and how you feel for all the topics we covered in this week's episode. That is episode 26. But you already know how it works around here. We'll be here same place, same time next week. Peace.
Game on. And that's it for this video of Are You Not Entertained podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll never miss our next hot take. Until next time, Are You Not Entertained?